Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online, your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Right? Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL, at BD Williams 18, at M Holder 95 for Matt, and also pandasups.com, discount code TDL. So you guys make sure you guys check that out and go ahead and get some protein, get some workout. We'll be inside a little bit more, but you know what I'm saying? Got to get nice for the Christmas pictures. So let's go ahead and get that body right, get the pandasups.com. All right, guys. So tough loss for the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Offense did not play very well. Either the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Offensive line was having a lot of variations, but the defense picked it up in the second half after struggling a little bit in the first half. They had some big plays given up, but they held it down pretty much in the second half. So initial thoughts for you guys.
I mean, we were talking about a little bit beforehand, the Derek Carr saga, a little bit to Marcus to steal your thunder a little bit, the ups and downs, I was just thinking about it when you were talking about it, we're thinking about it from the PFF stats perspective of the turnover where he plays and big time throws. It was I felt like it was almost even. It's like he'd make a terrible decision and then end up dropping a dime in the next drive. So it was frustrating, but I don't know. I'll save some of that for you. I know you've got something in the holster. You just got that look in your face like you're about to go off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean the initial reaction is going to be Carr heavy, just based off the broadcast, right? So we might as well just start the show off talking about Carr. It's the elephant in the room, anyways. Everyone's going to look at the 3 picks and say, "Hey, he had 3 picks this game." Just adding some context, only one of those resulted in points for the Chargers, right? So you can talk about that, and put that hand in hand at the same time. Yeah, it was obvious Carr didn't look in rhythm, I guess you could say, comfortable. So what do you say about that?
I wouldn't even say it was comfortable. I think he's just aggressive. I think he was just being aggressive at all point in times. And, you can kind of tell that, in this offense, there's always a completion. And if Amir Abdullah didn't have any balls, you know what I'm saying? You're under pressure. There's a lot of pressure here, man. You don't have that much time. And I think the over aggressiveness is kind of peeking in with this offensive line, especially when you're switching it around. You want to get the quick game going. We saw Josh Allen, this past week, they 2.4 seconds. That's what I was expecting this week. I was expecting them to get the ball out quick, have a lot of quick passes, but it felt like they're trying to hit him over the top a lot. And then of course sometimes he throws too hard and instead of getting touch on it and it's picked off by Drew Tranquill, but he decides to make the play of his career. And then and then then the one with Devontae Adams over the top. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they hit that later in the year, but I think in this game it needed to be more controlled. And I don't know.
Let's go through the picks. Let's go through the picks. The Drew Tranquill pick.
Go ahead, my bad.
This Drew Tranquill pick, that was an incredible play, phenomenal play, right, by that linebacker. And then the Asante Samuel Jr. pick where he runs underneath, that's an all league play. You get that slot corner, you get that slot fade. The number one is running a little hitch route. The corner shouldn't be there at all. That's a 1 in 100 situation. You're not going to expect that guy, especially when Devontae Adams, he just blows past the nickel. Carr just put it up. He's like, oh, he's beat. He didn't expect Asante Samuel Jr. to come off his guy. That's a ridiculous play. So hats off to the defense on some of those. You could say Carr, terrible. He had a terrible game. Yeah, but these guys are paid too. They obviously did some really good things out there.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Go ahead.
Here's my rebuttal on those two. The one to Tranquill was a nice play, but it was also Tampa 2 that Carr threw it in a double coverage, puts more air on it, puts it in front of Waller. That's a completion or at worst case an incompletion. And then Adams, like Samuel made a nice play, but Adams also has his man beat by a step, and Carr floated it and was underthrown. If he overthrows it again, at worst case if he overthrows it again, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they catch him, maybe not. That was the biggest thing for me is it was a great play, but it's also Derek's not doing his part Derek's not putting the ball where it needs to be able to prevent those good plays from happening.
Yeah. Boomer Esiason made a good point after the game that, they're working on that and they'll maybe later on in the season they'll hit that same kind of look, right? Because they don't get those inside game reps with, you know, um, but it was weird because, like I said, man, you have some big plays. There's some great throws, and then there's some bad plays. It was just so up and down. And like I was talking about, I just felt like I was watching Matthew Stafford. I mean, that's basically kind of what I felt like, and just with the aggressive, the type of aggressive play too, And yeah, you want your quarterback to be aggressive. I understand that, but like sometimes when that line is not really what you want it to be, I think you got to make up for it a little bit because I think some of those sacks were on him. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
a lot of those sacks
Yeah,
were on him.
not all of them on the offensive line. No way. No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And I mean, to Boomer's point a little bit too, what you're talking about with like Carr and Adams not like still like having, even though they work together, they still don't have the chemistry. Like there was one goal line fade too, where like you could tell like their timing was off. I think Adams was like just getting out of his break at the end. Forget when it was. I think it was in the second half. I don't know if you guys remember, but he tried Carr through a fade to Adams, and like Adams wasn't even looking at the time. Adams was still getting out of his release by the time Carr threw it, and it was like had no chance. So yeah. I think there was stuff like that where I noticed, or obviously for most of the game they were on point, but the little things here and there where maybe they're still kind of figuring things out, which I hate to play the hindsight game where maybe if they play a little bit more in the preseason, maybe they have more reps, but
maybe
that seems to be. I feel like that's been talked about more this like week one than any other like year in the past. We talked about it on Monday night too with or Thursday night, excuse me, with the Rams and the Bills. You know what I mean? So who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for week one, I guess, I mean, that's kind of, we saw a lot of positives that, going forward that, I mean, maybe, going to the Cardinals game, you feel some confident about with some of the big throws you saw and some of the things that maybe they missed and they can hit on. Because, this team's all about adjustments. And, they did adjust in the second half because the first half, they couldn't really move the ball. Second half, they were able to move the ball pretty consistently, at least. Even those interceptions definitely, hurt them for sure. But, we saw them able to adjust and move the football, which I thought was a positive. Just, it's 24-19. It's week one. There's still 16 games left. I'm not going to flip out, but, you definitely want a better performance from the quarterback. Anything else on that one?
Good.
You good, man. Any other thoughts? The offensive line. Let's talk about that. That was weird. I felt like I was watching like a college football team where we were in a tempo college football team. What's going on there?
I mean, it's kind of like I like not that you really name a starting right tackle, but like we kind of knew like going into the week, like dang, like I don't really know if they really know who the starting right tackle is, and I feel like today proved it. Like I don't know how many teams were rotating guys out on the right side of the line of scrimmage at two different spots with Lester Cotton playing right tackle or right guard, and then I think part of them got some reps at right guard, and then three right tackle. Who's the third? Did Barton get some reps at?
Someone's saying three. I believe it. I believe it at this point. We got to see the film.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's wrong at all. Like that could absolutely be true. Like if I wouldn't be surprised if Barton got a couple reps out there. But yeah, it's you're not going to find many teams, at least with decent offensive lines, that were rotating in week one. Normally, you have a pretty good idea who the starters are, and that showed up at least. I mean, like I was talking about before the show. Jermaine Illuminor had the one sack for the Raiders tonight because Khalil Mack pushed him straight back in the Carr's lap in the first half for his first sack.
Yeah. So, to me, I mean, what's going on out there? Like, you haven't picked the guys, you haven't decided which ones, you can't do that in a live game. Like, why is Mumford in there? Oh, Allure is back in. And then, why is Cotton? I was like, Parham starting, I mean, I guess the guys on the left, they're set. I guess they made the team.
So yeah, those guys are good. Yeah.
Even so, like at the end of the stretch, Colton Miller got beat by Mack for the last sack, and I think he get beat on that last drive too. Like,
yeah,
I mean the whole O line. Like you give up 5 sacks. A sack a guy basically. Like that's not great. I'm trying to see how many QB hits.
Yes, you could say he got beat and everything like that, but I don't think that the way you beat this team is the way that the Raiders went out there, because I think that they're built to defend aggressive passing attack down the field. That's like the whole point of this defense. So like, I mean, we can get further into it when we do the breakdown or whatever, but you're going to see a lot too high. You know what I'm saying? So you run the ball on these guys, and I think that the offensive line rotating, I think that could have potentially hurt this run game, because you saw it I think Jacobs had like a solid game, but you definitely saw the run game sputter at certain moments.
Yeah, I thought the run game definitely they could have tried to get more consistent with it. I think it was good. I think they were still getting pushed. I mean, they kind of got a couple 3 yard runs. I think they kind of got away from it with those kind of not actually what they call success runs or whatever with the 4 yards or whatever 5 yards. So since they're only getting like 3 yards in some of those runs, I thought they got away from it with that. But to me, it should have kept with it because you saw in the second half it started to open up and it started to open up the offense a little bit. And then Derek Carr was still pretty good on play action this past in the game. So if they keep the play action going and then get the run game going, in my opinion, I think they can do more, especially in this game going against Brandon Staley. I don't know why they were running the football. I mean, even with a couple stops, who cares? You keep pounding, try to get something. But
yeah,
well, part of it was they were down 2 possessions for most of the second half.
Yeah,
harder to run the ball when you're playing from behind. I mean, like we were talking a little bit. Jacobs averaged 5.7 a carry. Like that's a great average in the NFL. It's just again, situation didn't dictate it, and when I felt like when the Raiders wanted to run or when everyone knew they were going to run, like the Chargers had a little bit of an answer. So, but
right,
yeah.
I'm also looking at Khalil Mack's stat line: 6 total tackles, 3 sacks. I think they're counting all 3 sacks as TFLs, and then 4 QB hits. I'm not sure if the 3 sacks are included in that. But yeah, that one cuts deep.
Yeah, that was a monster game. He was a monster. I don't know. Did Bosa get any sacks?
1.5.
He definitely got at least one.
Yeah, that was.
He had the one. Yeah, that strip sack at the end. Yeah.
Real quick, Marcus. What about this Bolden guy? What do you think about him?
I mean, running the football, no. But, I mean, obviously in the past game, he's pretty good. So, I mean, you saw him get that open on a touchdown. But I don't know why they're giving him the football on 3rd and 2, and he's tiptoeing through lines.
Yeah. So. We saw him, we watched him together. I thought that he was efficient running the football when there was holes. And so I'm thinking that you're going to go back through and watch the tape and see, like, guys getting their butt whooped in front of him. Because what's happening here? Why are we getting stuffed at the line every single time with him, taking the carries?
Yeah, I just want to say when I was watching this whole game, I was thinking about the Tom Brady documentary and how, they always talk about, they always start 2-2. And he's like, yeah, we like to start really slow so we can adjust. And all we hear is about is adjustments. And it's like, all right, that's what we're doing. We're out there figuring it out.
They're using this game as a preseason game, essentially. They're rotating their starting offensive line. Like, come on. So yeah,
and they still almost won. So I don't know how I feel about this game. It's a weird feeling.
It's strange.
I was mad like walking in here, but then I'm like, okay, it's week 1. That Charger team actually looks pretty good. Herbert is like, F Joe Lombardi. I don't care what call you make, because I feel like that Patrick Graham has some good, coverage initially, and he was getting out of the pocket and he was just making plays. But you'll get more into that, BD. But I thought they played a pretty good Chargers team. They actually still played them pretty well, even with the offense stuttering.
Sputter.
Yeah.
I mean, we can transition into talking about the defense. I mean, there was definitely stretches. I mean, it was an up and down game, obviously, right? There were stretches where the Chargers looked good, but then at the end of the game, when the Raiders needed the stops to stay in the game, where the defense came through to do that, at the same time, we're not seeing sacks, we're not seeing interceptions. So I don't know if that's a product of a lot of these guys are just playing. This is the first time they're actually playing. Crosby and Jones, like, they're taking this as a preseason game here, right? So maybe that's part of the reason why we're not seeing some of those splash plays. But I'm hoping that we see more from these edges, because they had a lot of hype, and they played good. They caused disruption, but it wasn't like a premier game for either of them compared to like Mac and Bosa on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, I mean, Crosby did finish with 10 tackles and 2 QB hits, and then Jones had the other one. But obviously, compared, I just read off Khalil Mack. Outside of the tackles, pass rush defeated the whole Raiders.
5 sacks to 0 sacks.
Exactly.
You got to finish.
Yeah, for sure. But it was definitely wanted to see more from those guys. I mean, at least Crosby was active. Jones was a little bit of a ghost, other than the one TFL and obviously the one quarterback hit. But
no, he had some good disruption. He was making some plays.
Yeah, it
Both
was
those
all right.
guys were making
Yeah.
plays in the instant run a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, like Herbert's ability to extend, obviously, we saw some of that. So they're gonna have to come up with a better plan for his mobility than they had this game. Obviously.
Yeah, I still think that caught them off guard because I mean that was kind of the most I've seen him get out of the pocket like
Right.
consistently. Like that was pretty consistent throughout the first half. It was just
There's probably like we can go back and go through it. There's going to be two plays. There's going to be two plays where he's breaking out of the pocket and he makes a big time throw. Like those are the backbreakers, and sometimes that's how it works on defense. You can have like tons of positive plays, but all it takes is two moments. So unfortunately, yeah, like that's going to happen with a quarterback like Herbert. The offense has to match up. It's not like you can go into that and like the offense can have a bad game, but you can beat the Chargers. Both sides and special teams, all three phases have to play well.
I thought they made that adjustment though. I mean, they did a lot better in the second half. I mean, I know he got out that. I don't know what kind of play that was for them, but he got out and hit Joe Everett for the touchdown. But I thought they did a better job of keeping him in the pocket and keeping everything short so they can get off the field. So,
yeah, right. Yeah, I'll have to see what kind of adjustments happen there.
I will say, Max got to him a couple times. I mean, but he's just dude's like 240, so he had to. He wasn't able to get his hands on him.
It's not affecting the pass. It's not affecting the pass. Yeah,
you just got to eat it sometimes. So
right.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple things I noticed. Diablo had the green dot. He was the defensive signal caller. So I thought that was interesting. Not Perryman.
Wow.
Because Perryman gets subbed out in obvious passing situations. So Diablo's out there every down. So that's why he gets the green dot. So that's an interesting development, I would say. And then obviously Hobbs played the majority of the game in the nickel. Abram played at the strong safety position. I thought both those guys had a pretty darn good game because they're involved in a lot of stops. Hobbs more so in coverage, and Abram like coming forward and tackling, but he looked pretty good out there. So
yeah,
I thought Hobbs had a hell of a game. I thought Hobbs had the best game defensively. I mean, he was out there like we talked about it a little bit in the offseason. We're like, okay, they're going to expand his role. How well is he going to do? Like I think BD, I brought it up with you. Like I'm like worried about him playing on the outside. I think he said he's mainly in the nickel. I don't know how many snaps he had, but I think he had a couple pass breakups, a couple nice tackle when they're against the run. He had a hell of a game. He looked like a guy that like when like we were talking about the Raiders maybe trying to make him like their cornerback one, he looked like he was ready to step up to me and play it in that role. Like he had a hell of a game. I mean, Abram, you bring that guy up too. He's a guy that's been talked about a lot, been up and down throughout his career. Ended up leading the team with 12 tackles today, and again, like had a hell of a play. There was one, I thought he had him stopped on that. There was like that one like third down where he came downhill. They ended up getting it by like literally like just a chain link or everything like that. I mean, he looked like he was flying around. Trevon Merritt goes down, and he kind of stepped up a little bit. I thought for the Raiders defense. So
yeah. You wonder about those injuries. See how those injuries affect them because I mean, having Roger Keemer out there, obviously you saw what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
right. That's a problem.
Yeah, it was tough. But
I do like Hobbs and Yassine's. They're very competitive, feisty corners.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Yassine get in on a lot of tackles. Rock Yassine get in on a lot of like hard and like tough collisions too. So that's always fun to see when you got your two starting corners. Like neither of them are afraid to mix it up. It's going to be a physical game all game long. I think that definitely wore down on them on the Chargers offense as the game went on. You saw some of these big hits in the second level. Some of these big hits like took a toll on them a little bit. They their wheels didn't turn quite as fast as the game wore on. So I think those guys definitely they bring the juice. One observation I want to point out. There was a moment where it was cover 2. Abram was on Rock Yassine's side, and he's supposed to be on top of the go route, and he's like a step or two kind of late, and then it's an overthrow, so it's not a big deal, like nothing happened. But you see Yassine like gesturing, like demonstrative to him, like you have to be on top of that, right? So Rock Yassin, he's a guy. He's gonna get into Jonathan Abrams' face and make sure he's doing his job. You know what I'm saying? He's going to hold him accountable. So I think we're going to see a good year for Abram because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else on the defensive side you guys want to talk about here?
I mean, like I said, I mean, still, I thought Max still looks good. You know, they're not playing, you know, same big old dude. I mean, I think they can tackle the next guy they got next week. So hopefully they keep him in the pocket, practice a lot of that for next week. I think they can get some sacks. You know, and then Chandler Jones get a little revenge for them letting him go. So hopefully we get some bounce back from him too. So next week, so
it's Arizona next week or Tennessee next week?
Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it sucks to play Arizona after they just get blown out by Kansas City. They're going to be, you know, they need to come back in a major way here. So
yeah, but if you're going to play Arizona, you want to play them before they get DeAndre Hopkins back.
Yeah, you want to play it right now
for sure.
Yeah,
because that Titans game after this one, it makes me. Jeffrey Simmons scares the hell out of me. So yeah. So
Yes.
definitely one of those games, especially you don't want to start 0-2. You know, it's hard to make the playoffs when you start 0-2. So it's just historically. So definitely want to go get this one first game at home. You know, just have a bounce back. Like I said, we saw some good moments, bad moments. You know, just can't have an up and down, inconsistent football game against this caliber team. You got to play more consistent to win this game. So especially with turnovers and stuff like that. So really, what happened? You know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, another very minor note that I thought that stood out to me about the defense was Cleveland Farrell got a lot more run than I was expecting him to, especially in the first half. He was playing quite a bit. Sean Bauer was a healthy scratch for today. I'm like, damn. So I guess Cleveland hit the books hard and was really standing out in preseason because I was very shocked to see that. To see one, he was in the game that much, and two, that Bauer was is still behind him on the depth chart. I thought that would have been the opposite with the way the last month went.
I felt the first half he was splitting snaps with Chandler Jones. He was in there so much.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he was playing a lot.
I told you guys that quote, man.
Yeah,
you guys didn't believe me. You guys were in denial.
I mean, and Chandler Jones is old, so yes, he's going to be splitting snaps. Like he's not going to play 90% of the snaps. No way. So yeah. I mean, but I agree. I'm surprised it's Klee and not Deshaun Bauer. I'm surprised to see that.
It's just a little frustrating because it kind of felt like preseason game one. Like it felt like the preseason week 3 of like the old school days. It's kind of what it felt like, especially with the moving of offensive linemen and you know they're trying to get used to stuff. It's like it felt like you know they should have kind of got this together a little earlier, in my opinion. You know, be more ready for a big game like this. Because I mean, this is the AFC West. You know, especially with a difficult offense like this. I mean, this offense is not easy to learn. I mean, there's so much stuff to it. And who knows how easy they try to keep it. So we'll find out when I look at that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know if we went through this. I was surprised to see the lack of Renfro's involvement until like later on in the game. What do you think? Is there any initial
He was getting locked up, man. I'm saying they were getting locked up too. I mean, besides Adams, I mean, and Waller, really. I mean, they were getting locked up. I mean, they had Callahan following Renfro a lot. Even when they're in zone coverage and stuff like that, he was following him around, all in his face, getting physical with him, you know, and you know, putting his big body into him, and it was hard for him to get open. So, because you know, a couple of those plays, they called a couple of juke routes, and Carr couldn't hit him. So then, you know, Carr's like, "Where's Adams?" I mean, that's basically what I saw from him too. So,
I feel like that's I feel like that's one of the like Renfro's Achilles heels. He doesn't like the guys that are physical with him. Like he does not like he does not hold up against like physical press coverage that well. He's more of a guy that wants you to like play soft shoe and like give you the space he can operate. He doesn't like it when guys get into space.
Yeah, Mike Hilton used to do that to him too. Get in his face and bump him around. So,
you guys better watch out. The Renfro stands are going to be coming after you in the comments here. Don't you know?
I mean, you saw some of the coverages yet.
We've already pissed off the Carr stands and everyone else. I think we're already screwed. Yeah. The comment section's already going off.
You know, I'm fair with Carr. I mean, he didn't play well. Yeah. You know, we'll check the all 22, see what we saw, but you know, maybe some changes, something different. But I thought that they could have, you know, you gotta get.
I mean,
get that ball in the fourth quarter, man.
The broadcast said it right. The broadcast said it. I don't know if you noticed how much you noticed of this and how much this happened, but I noticed at least a couple times on a couple key plays where he's like going through 1, 2, 3, 4, like multiple guys. You don't do that unless those guys are locked up, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously the first and this McDaniels is a big first read offense guy. Correct me if I'm wrong here, right? So the fact that Carr's having to go through past his first, past his second, past his third on some of these downs, I think that's an indication here. There's the Chargers game plan. I think they came out probably with a stronger game plan from McDaniels offense.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they're definitely ready for it because what they switched up is putting Callahan on Renfro. I mean, that was kind of a big thing that they did. I mean, having him fall around Renfro and then him push Renfro around a little bit, I think that made a big difference because I think that was a little bit of their game plan too, was to get it to Renfro because I saw Carr kind of double pump to him a couple times and then try to go somewhere else. So I think Bryce Callahan might have had a really good game, and that's what I'm saying. Like next week, that probably might not happen. So,
I think
right.
not to be overly pessimistic, but I think the scary thing is like we're talking about this, how great the Charger secondary did. They were down to arguably their best player.
Yeah, but I got my thoughts on J.C. Jackson getting with his 4 picks against the Jets and then 2 against the Panthers, and then I got with Bryce Callahan. He's been a dog for a minute, so that doesn't surprise me. I think I was sleeping on him. I was more sleeping on Bryce Callahan than nothing. He's a dog. He's a dog, but
I mean, but aside Samuel Jr., that was the best DB in the game. He had some spectacular plays.
Oh yeah, he played great. Yeah.
And him taking his next step too is big for them too. So you know what I'm saying? And his dad probably got was in the film room with him.
Unfortunately,
all off season
for us, yeah.
Unfortunately for us, dude, make it.
Right. I still thought it was. I thought it was crazy. Someone asked McDaniels in the press conference, like what was it like drafting Asante Samuel's dad? I'm like, Jesus, right. we're at this point already. Like, we're asking coaches about drafting opponents' dads. Damn, made me feel old.
Yeah, we are old. Yeah.
Do we got any questions or anything you want to hit up?
All right, let's see here. I'll look
our viewers today. We almost have 500 viewers in the stream. I appreciate you guys coming and checking this out after this tough loss, but you know what I'm saying. But we got 16 games left.
Yeah,
get a little more worried if we lose next week. That's when I start feeling a little tense a little bit after that. 0-2 makes me tense.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions for a while here, so I think we're good to go, guys.
All right, like I said, we appreciate all you guys coming in here, checking us out. Definitely check us out every single Sunday after games. Give your instant reactions, and of course, we're gonna do our breakdowns and then our previews. We're gonna get those going this week. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe, and then follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL, at BD Williams for me, and at MHolder95 for Matt. All right, check you out. Peace.
Later, y'all.
See you guys.